Google Maps is probably one of the greatest creations in modern history. It has provided us with a wealth of information, not only about our roads and transportation systems, but for the Earth in general. Though some discoveries have been made on Google Maps that have disturbed photographers and innocent viewers alike, making us question our reality. From strange crop patterns that revealed hidden secrets, to Google Street View captures the face of a robber. Today, we are gonna look at 10 of the most mysterious discoveries ever found on Google Maps. But before we begin, be sure to hit that like button and ring that notification bell. Otherwise, that monster under your bed is gonna reach out and tickle your feet while you're in bed tonight. Number 10. There are several areas on Google Maps Street View that have been blurred out by developers. Many of these blurred areas are innocent enough, but Google decided to blur the items to protect the user's privacy. However, some of these objects may have been blurred because photographers, developers, and users could not figure out what was going on in the image. One such area was in Nancy, France. A building was photographed that showed a green painted balcony on the upper floor of a building. The balcony shows a series of windows and a bicycle, but there is also a, I guess you could say, humanoid figure mounted on the balcony as well. The figure appears to be a demon of some sort, as its eyes have a menacing glare and its body is an unbelievable thing and very frail. Several people were quick to point out that this must have been real-life evidence of a demon, but others, well, they weren't so sure. Some viewers say that it's simply a statue of a tiki man that has been positioned near the bike, though the official explanation is that this was a glitch in photography and that the figure is nothing more than a woman smoking a cigarette on her balcony. Yeah, last time I saw a woman smoking a cigarette on her balcony, she didn't look like a demon straight out of the depths of hell. Just saying. Regardless of what you may believe though, you cannot deny that that figure is certainly pretty creepy. Number 9. In 2006, 72-year-old David Lee Niles suddenly went missing after he was diagnosed with clinical depression and cancer. He never informed his close friends or family of where he was going or that he even had plans of leaving. It seemed as though he just simply vanished. Though in 2015, after David had been missing for nearly a decade, a man noticed on Google Maps that there appeared to be a car submerged in a lake near his home. He phoned in to police, who then arrived at the scene to remove the car from the murky waters. It was then found that the car belonged to David Niles, and his skeletal remains were still inside of the vehicle. It's believed that David took his own life after receiving the news of his cancer. His family says that while this is a rather tragic end to David's story, they are extremely happy to finally have some sort of closure. Number 8. This series of images has likely already been spotted by many of you keen-eyed viewers, but we couldn't make this video without mentioning it, okay? So, the town of New Baltimore, located in New York, was originally posted to Google Maps in a pretty bizarre way. The town has since been called a portal to hell after this terrifying series of images made its way onto the platform. The images show the town covered in black shadow, with all of the images of the buildings appearing to run down the screen like wet paint. Google has said that this was just a glitch in photography and has since resolved the issue, but the screenshots serve as a terrifying reminder of the demonic-looking town that was originally uploaded to Google Street View. Number 7. In early 2010, David and Rebecca Sohn had their family's Caravan stolen from their front lawn while they were away for the evening. The vehicle was estimated to have been worth about $12,000 at the time, but it did cause the family some great distress. Police were called to the scene, though the suspect left no identifying evidence at the scene of the crime. The case went cold after just a few short weeks. That is, until their 11-year-old son was viewing their home on Google Maps one day just a few months later. In the photo, the boy saw a white, balding man standing next to the family's Caravan. Police were then informed of this, and the family expected that their Caravan would be returned within days. But at that point, honestly, it's probably at a chop shop. Come on, people. However, there was just one major issue. Police had no idea who this man was, and as per Google policy, the license plate on the man's vehicle had been blurred. Google and police went round and round for months before Google ultimately told them that they were unable to supply authorities with the uncensored version of the photo. It's unclear exactly why though. The family says that they have since simply forgotten about caravanning and they just purchased a tent instead. But to this day, over 7 years later, the Caravan has yet to be found. Number 6. This image was captured back in 2016, and it shows a pretty bizarre natural occurrence that has turned into a meme online recently. This area has been called the island and a lake on an island and a lake on an island. I know, that's quite the mouthful, trust me. The area was spotted on the Philippine island of Luzon and shows an island inside of a crater lake that is on an island known as Volcano Island. This island is inside of a lake known as Lake Taal, which is located on the island of Luzon. I get it, it's incredibly confusing, but this has to go on to be one of the most famous locations on Google Maps, second only to another similar area in Canada that shows a 4-acre stretch of land that humans are believed to have never visited before, and in my opinion, is where Squatch is living. Number 5. The next story may seem a bit petty, though it's certainly satisfying to see justice served, even in small cases such as this. Back in 2008, a young Dutch boy was mugged by a group of teens. The boys took his bicycle, about $200, and his cell phone. The boy was naturally upset about this, but he ultimately shrugged it off as a loss. That is, until March of the following year. The boy was searching through Google Maps, simply gazing around his city, when he noticed that the Google Street View car managed to capture the image of his muggers just moments after he had been robbed. After this, the boy informed the police. Police then contacted Google, who supplied them with an unedited version of the image, and authorities then immediately recognized 2 of the individuals involved and arrested them. Sadly, the boy's belongings were never returned, but hey, at least the individuals involved were apprehended. Number 4. A strange series of wheels and circular shapes were spotted on both Google Earth and Google Maps. A team of experts has consulted with researchers who confirm that these strange wheel markings are in the Aztec Oasis. The circles appear to be perfectly aligned with the sunrise of the winter solstice, but no one has any idea who carved the drawings. They have been estimated to be several thousand years old and were likely built by a tribe that no longer exists. Numerous other areas similar to this have been spotted on Google Maps since then, but this sighting remains the first and most clearly visible. Others have been spotted in deserted areas of the world or in crop fields. Number 3. In late 2012, 3 individuals were arrested and charged with illegal tree cutting in the Vancouver area after they had been captured by the Google Maps vehicle chopping an approximate 23 trees, which they allegedly plan to sell as firewood. The individuals involved had just recently purchased the property, and they were allowed by the city to cut down a total of either 2 or 3 trees. Reports seem to vary on what the exact number was, though the group cut down over 10 times their allotted amount. After police found out about this, charges were filed, and the group is expected to receive fines between $500 and $20,000 per tree, meaning that this simple act of cutting trees could cost them upwards of $460,000. Woo, not worth it. Number 2. In 2009, Swiss police say that they arrested 16 people in connection with a large crop of illegal plants, 1.1 tons to be exact, with a cash value just shy of $1 million. Officers discovered the field after they had been investigating an alleged drug ring specializing in narcotics earlier that year. The field was found as a group of the officers were skimming through Google Maps looking through cornfields when they stumbled upon the massive plot of land measuring approximately 7,500 square meters or 2 acres. All suspects are expected to have received fairly lengthy prison sentences due to strict Swiss laws against the use of the crop, though no information was ever released regarding just how long the individuals are gonna be jailed. Number 1. We are all aware of the many mysteries that surround the pyramids of Egypt. Recent discoveries and excavations have painted ancient Egypt in a very different way than we initially perceived the great nation to be. Several pyramids have been unearthed and countless facts about the country's history have been brought to light, including many kings and queens that are long been forgotten. If we had not conducted several research digs in the country, that definitely would have been the case. However, a more recent sighting on Google Maps found a series of pyramids that may still be unknown to the country. The image shows 4 or 5 objects that appear to be pyramids that have been encased in sand. They each appear to have been abandoned for thousands of years, but the structures each strongly resemble the pyramids that we have come to know and love today. While these pyramids may not have the pointed tops that many of the others in the area do, they closely resemble others that have been found in Mexico and other countries in South America. The Egyptian government is pretty strict about allowing excavations in the area, They even began to filter certain types of information that is made available to the public following these digs. Because of this, well, it's highly unlikely that we will ever be able to see what's inside these hypothetical pyramids, but hey, we can always hope and wonder, right?